And so when you're creating your content, when you're creating your merchandise, stuff like that, you need to speak to the vibe of what you're doing as well, too, because that's going to resonate with people way more than just buy now, out now. Look, just saying out now is not promotion. People don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
they don't care.
Like so?
They don't care that it's out now. Like, oh, my song's out now. Okay, and what the fuck? But if you say, if you just hit play, right?
Dude. Like seriously.
Yeah, it's true though.
Yeah, man.
You know,
for real.
I mean, just think about
dude.
it.
I'm unstoppable, like rolling, cracking out the modes. Never mind the road, I go whichever I'ma go. Nothing stop me though, rain, sleet, summer, snow. I'ma grind.
What's up, y'all? Harcoast here with the Music Making Sense podcast, where we talk about music marketing, branding, and how to have success as an independent artist. With me, as always, is the one, the only, the Mohawk man, Dapper Dan, man who likes to scream into a trash can, KP. How you doing?
You said scream into the trash can. Nice.
That's yeah. I had to remember that. That's why I paused for a second before we started, because I was like, "Fuck, what did I come up with the other day?" I came up with that the other day.
You came up with the trash can, dude.
Yeah, I figured you'd like that one.
Nice.
Scream into a trash can.
No, and I'm not so dapper today. I'm looking a little scruffy and ruffy. You know what I'm saying?
Roughy, yeah. And you don't like to scream in the trash. I mean, you might, but you scream in the microphone
actually be kind of cool to do that, man. I'd like to hear the sound of.
There you go. Get one of the metal trash cans and fucking bring it up on stage. You just drag it on stage with you behind, and like stare at the audience as you're doing it and make it all weird. They're like, what the fuck is he doing with the trash can?
Yeah, man, that would be cool. I'm kind of.
Yeah. There you go. See what it sounds like. Practice.
I see that, dude.
Workshop it.
Yeah, man. Anyway.
Speaking
Let them know
of talking
we are
to the crowd and talking to your fans, yeah, we are sponsored by Riverside FM, which is a great company, and we don't get paid from them, at least not yet.
Not yet.
But no, we just like to say that because it's a great software. Like, I've been recommended to people. I've actually had a couple people who listen to the show who said that they've switched from Zoom to Riverside because that's what we did. Yeah. Our first, 5 or 6 episodes we shot with Zoom, and then we switched to Riverside because KP heard about Riverside one day. We switched to it, and I've been
knowing about Riverside for a second. So I was like, yeah, just.
But I remember you mentioned it around like episode 6 or so, and then you're like, oh, I'm thinking about this, and I'd never heard of it. So I asked my business mentor about it, and he's like, oh yeah, I love that thing, and I'm like, okay, well, yeah, let's check it out, KP, and then we got it and haven't went back. No. So it's a great software if you do anything with video, as you may or may not know, depending on how long you've listened to the show. But I'm located here in Indiana, and KP's in Seattle, Washington.
Yes, sir.
And we're able to get on here and have conversations with y'all every single week, as well as just like 2 hours ago before we shot this, I was just on a call with one of my guys over in the UK. And I'm here in Indiana, you know what I'm saying? And we got him set up with Sony Orchard Distribution. And we actually have a song that's going to be coming out sometime in the next month or two or something like that as well, too.
Nice.
But yeah, like I rock hard with some of these guys over in the UK and the hip hop scene over there. Like the hip hop scene over there it's on another level, man. Like it's raw as fuck. Like,
I think a lot of US guys don't give it a lot of credit, but I think it has a pretty good raw. I think it's raw too.
Yeah, it has a really raw vibe, and it brings it back to like the basics. Like they're heavy with boom bap, sampling, all that shit. So it's like the 90s on crack though. Like not real crack, but like accelerated, you know what I'm saying? Because like they actually they take a lot of the elements out of today's music scene and they throw it in there with boom bap, and it's like it revitalizes that, and it has that heartbeat feel to it. You know, when you're listening to it, you feel that heartbeat with the boom bap and shit, and it's dope. And fucking UPS guy. But I see him come. I heard some gravel. I'm like, what the fuck? It's because my drive's gravel. But anyway, yeah. Speaking of all that, we coming here to you today because we actually want to talk about communication with your fans. Yeah. And I mainly wanted to talk about this, and KP's got some insight on it as well too. But you know, I always see a lot of times and we've talked about it many times here on the show, but whenever I see artists talking with their fans on social media, they're more talking to them instead of with them. What they do a lot of times is, in order to promote a new video or a new song, they simply say out now, go stream now, buy now. Like they're just directing their fans on to go do something, which is what we want them to do. However, we want them to do it because they want to, not because they were told to. So you can still tell somebody to do something without actually telling somebody to do something, right? Yeah. It's the difference between persuasion and directives. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so what I always tell a lot of artists to do whenever I'm working with them with their marketing is I tell them that they need to create engaging, entertaining content for their music.
Now, what does that actually mean?
Yeah. So, and what that means is basically you get a clip out of a song, right? Like you create a whole song or whatever, you create a music video for it, whether it's a professional music video or whether you just do like a one-shot music video on your phone. You just do something raw, real, just a one-shot take. You're sitting in your car, you're walking down the street, you're in an alleyway, whatever the fuck, right? Something raw and real. You take the clips out of that, right? And your clips are going to have your lyrics in it. Your lyrics will say something about what they'll have a message within that 30 seconds of the lyrics. And so what you do is you title your description for that clip, not go stream the new music video right now, it's out on YouTube, right? Or nothing like that. What you do is you make that title something that speaks to the lyrics in the song, in that clip, right? So, like for instance, I have a song that I did with one of my guys over in the UK called Stranger, right? And the hook goes, people are strange, but I'm stranger. Never look into the dark eyes of a stranger. People are strange and you can see me living life in 3D, but you can never be me, right? And it repeats twice. And so you can take a clip of the video that we did for that, for instance, and you could take that and the lyrics are talking about how people are strange, but I'm way stranger. You can never be me. I live life totally different, right? Well, you can take the lyrics out of that and create a title that says people are strange, but I'm way stranger. None of y'all can ever get on my level. Or this is for all my strangers out there, blah, blah, blah. Something like that, right? So, and then you just put it out. And so in there, you're creating the content that people are like, yo, I can connect with that because, yeah, I feel like I'm an outcast in society too. I feel like I'm a stranger. Nobody knows what the fuck I'm doing in my fucking head type of thing, right? Right. And so you're speaking to that because the music is speaking on that, in that lyrical moment as well too. And so that is entertaining and engaging because you're having a conversation through your music. All right, y'all. I just wanted to hop in here really quick and let you know about my company. I know a lot of times we're sitting here talking to you about all the different companies that rock with us here at Music Making Sense Podcast, but I just figured I'd hop in here really quick and let you know about my company and the services that I offer. Now, my company is called Apex Music System, and you can find that over at apexmusicsystem.com. You can find a full list of all the services that I offer over there in my company. If you're a podcaster or you have an online business or you're an artist, I can help you out with anything, all right? I got services such as website building, email marketing, video editing, social media management, ad management, creative content, strategy, consultations, and I can help you out no matter what your budget is. Now that's key right there. I got great prices. Plus I have a wide variety of low, medium, and high tier services. So I can help you out no matter what your need is. So make sure you go check out my company over at apexmusicsystem.com. And, like I tell you every time, make sure you let them know that I told you about my company right here on Music Making Sense Podcast. So I know that this ad's actually working. All right, I'm going to shut up so you can get back to the show. And even if it's about, throwing money or fucking hose or whatever the situation is, right? You can still have that conversation, you know what I'm saying, in the music. And you take that and you put that into the description. So your description is about the lyrical content of that clip. It's not about promoting the song. And what happens is you will be promoting the song in a more organic way than by saying out now, buy now, go check it out now.
Yeah, because it has no emotion.
Exactly.
When you just saying it like that, there's no emotion.
You're doing the emotion.
Yeah.
You're creating the content before the music, like you've said many times on here as well too, KP. And so that's what you're doing is that's the purpose of a music video. Yeah. It's not to show off You know what I'm saying? It's to showcase the song itself.
Yep.
Right. So obviously if it's a party song, you're going to have party elements in the video, you know, but either way, you're going to speak to the vibe of the clip, of the song in total, right? And so whenever you put out merchandise for that as well too, you're going to put out merchandise that speaks to the vibe of that song. You know, so, you know, back to use my example for my song Stranger, right? Song Stranger, like I said, it's all about me and my homeboy K Sauls over in the UK. We are outcasts, we're odd ones, we're weirdos, everything like that, right? We walk our own path and everything like that type of situation. So the merchandise that we would come out with that would speak to the fact that we are strangers, you know, stuff like that. It's not going to just be the album artwork on the front and then it'll say out now on all platforms on the back. Nobody's going to buy that shirt. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have maybe one or two people, but more people are going to buy a shirt that even if it has our faces on there and us looking like all weird or something like that, like distorted effects on it, and then on the back it says people are strange, but I'm way stranger, right? Then guess what? That's going to go way further in sales because it's putting out a message, right?
Right.
Like what I'm wanting to do for my song called Unstoppable, which is the lead up song in the intro song for all these episodes here, the past couple episodes of Music Makes Sense podcast. That song's kind of called Unstoppable, right? And so what I'm wanting to do for a piece of merchandise for that, whenever I get to it, is it's actually going to be some shirts and stuff like that that say I'm unstoppable, and then on the back it say like I'm unbreakable, nothing can stop me, type of shit, like something like that, right?
Right.
So it's speaking to the vibe. And so when you're creating your content, when you're creating your merchandise, stuff like that, you need to speak to the vibe of what you're doing as well too, because that's going to resonate with people way more than just buy now, out now. You know, and Circa over at Indiepreneur, he's really, really good about saying this in a funny way. He's like, look, just saying out now is not promotion. People don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
they don't care.
Like so.
They don't care that it's out now. Like, oh, my song's out now. Okay, and what the fuck? But if you say, if you just hit play, right?
Gotta get it, dude. Like seriously.
Yeah, it's true though.
Yeah, man.
You know,
for real.
I mean, just think about it.
Dude.
Every single one of y'all listening, if I say, yo, I got a brand new song out right now, you'd be like, okay, cool. I'm proud of you. But if I say, yo, I got a brand new song out right now called Unstoppable, it's all about facing the world and telling the world to go fuck itself. You're going to grind. You're going to get it however. You're going to be like, oh, shit, I kind of like that vibe. See what I'm saying? So it works differently when you talk about the vibes. And just because you say something's out now, it doesn't mean shit. You know, you need to actually tell the people and be like, hey, look, this is why you need to do. You need to hit the play button and just sit back and then let them be like, yo, that's what's up. I like that. Everything like that, you know, and then, you know, then you can obviously take that to different content creators across the internet that fit your vibe, that create stuff like that, and then market your music with them and have them create content with that as well too.
Right.
But beyond the content portion of it, you have to have more direct ways to speak with your fans as well too. You know, and before we get into that, did you have anything else on the content you wanted to add in there, KP? I just kind of rambled.
No, that's kind of you pretty much summed everything
solid,
up, man.
Yeah. And I know me and you were talking about content stuff with your Dark Lord and Shantae shit that you're working on building for your Charno Vale and stuff like that with his new band that he's working on and everything like that with his characters and everything. We were talking about content with that privately yesterday. And but yeah, so like, okay, you know, you're like, all right, Harco, so I get the elements of the content creation, okay, but now you have to have other pieces put in place technically beforehand, right? Because everybody knows that when you make a post on social media, it's not going to reach your whole fan base. I mean, fuck, if that was the case, every post I put out, it would have 5,000 views on it because I got over 5,000 people on my personal Facebook page, right? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work like that. I'll put out a post. Sometimes it'll get fucking 30 views and sometimes it'll get 3,000 views. Like there's a big, you know, there's, you never know. So in order to get around that, what you need to do is have ways of direct communication with your fans. And no, I'm not talking about just randomly DMing them the link to your music video with no context whatsoever. Don't do that shit. That's ridiculous. you're going to have more people that will block you and report you to spam or just delete you or unfriend you, or unfollow you, everything like that, than you will have people that will actually check it out, right? What you need to do is you need to have the ability to contact them via email. And I know I've heard it a lot. A lot of people say, yo, Harkos, what the fuck are you talking about? It's 2024. Nobody reads their email. No, nobody reads their email from people they don't want to hear from.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? You know, I get an email every month from my electric company. I don't read that shit because I don't want to hear from them, right? You see what I'm saying? Right? I don't read that shit. But
I'm sorry, dude. That's a fact right there, man.
that is a fact, right? My mortgage company hits me up every month. My car payment company hits me up every month. Chase sends me emails all the time. I never open them. I just swipe them. I know what the fuck they want. They want my money. Fuck them, right? But whenever I get an email from my business mentor, Jason Stapleton, I read that shit.
Yeah.
Because I want to, right? Because I get benefit out of it. And so if you are having entertaining, engaging content with your fans to where they are taking that next step of going to your profile to look at more of your content, and then also in your profile, you have a link to your website, right? They can go to your website, and on your website, you got your other social media platforms, all your streaming platforms. You also have the ability to have people download some of your music for free, and in exchange they give you their email address, and then also you have an option on there for them to join your newsletter. So no matter if they download your music for free or they manually volunteer to join your newsletter, now you have their email and you can talk with them, and you're going to have at least a 50% open rate from those people. And for those of y'all who don't know about the open rate, that just basically means out of all the people that you send the email to, that percentage opened it, right? So when you do email marketing, you have two different percentages. You got three. You got bounce rate, which is where it goes to an undeliverable email address. Then you also have open rate, which is where they open it. And then you have click rate, which is where they click a link inside of it, right? Those are pretty self-explanatory. It's not rocket science. But you want to try to maintain as high of an open rate as possible, and then in turn try to get a high click rate. But, you know, in order to do that, you have to communicate properly with them.
Right.
So, you know, let's say that either you did it yourself or you had me set it up, because I do build websites and set up with email marketing and all that marketing strategy all included and everything like that. I do that as well too. So if you're interested, let me know. But if you do it yourself, which you can, right? You can still do it yourself. If you got people's email addresses, you need to send them one email a week, and every single email, the main bulk of it, needs to be about something that has to do with your brand, right? Doesn't matter if you're a death metal band or a Christian hip hop artist or a pop artist or a boom bap trap artist or whatever your fucking genre of music is, whatever it is that you stand for as an artist, you need to be putting that out once a week, just on whatever day you want, but once a week, put that out in an email. And be talking about something that found your interest, something that speaks to your brand, right? And you're just sharing with your audience, with your fans. You're communicating with them. And then what I always recommend too is at the end of that, have a question in there and tell them, say, hey, so not only obviously let me know if you like these emails coming, but what do you think I should change? Or what do you think about what I just said in this, right? Because like if you're talking about some kind of topic, right? You're like, what do you think about this? Let me know what you think. Am I right? Am I wrong? Whatever. What you're doing with that as well too is you're giving them the opportunity to hit reply and reply back to you. Now, what that does is two different things. For one, that opens up a line of communication with your fans to where oh, this fan is super engaged with me, right? Now you can pretty much have them eating out of the palm of your hand and filling your pocket at the same time once you get there. But you're also going to know that they're super invested, so they're going to be highly likely to share as well too, because they're feeling like they're putting in. So what you need to do, obviously, is cherish the fuck out of that. So you need to respond back to them in more than just a thumbs up or a couple of words whenever they take the time to reply to you. You need to reply in kind with at least the amount of words that they replied to you, right?
At least 5 words.
Yeah, if not a lot more, right?
Yeah.
you can't be doing the 7 words like Tech Nine and Chris Calico had. That track 7 words, that's a dope fucking song. But anyway,
Yeah, it is.
yeah, and for those of you that don't know, the track 7 words, those 7 words is I love it when you suck my dick. But I love the way that you suck my dick. Anyway, but it's a dope song. Anyway, all right, y'all, let me take a quick break right here to tell you about something that's completely fucking ridiculous, okay? It's called HorribleDesigns.com. And I personally know the owner, and he's just as ridiculous as this whole fucking company is, okay? If you or someone you know loves stickers and mugs and shirts with crazy, outlandish sayings on them that just are designed to catch people's attention out in public and get them to laugh and point and ask you, hey, where'd you get that t-shirt, or where'd you get that sticker, when they see it on your car and stuff like that, y'all got to go check out HorribleDesigns.com. At HorribleDesigns.com, they have all kinds of ridiculous sayings on stickers and coffee mugs, t-shirts, vinyl stickers, magnets, and even mouse pads, okay? And I'm telling you, if you guys have not checked out HorribleDesigns.com, you got to go check it out, because some things are straight up great, like the American Muscle mouse pad. It's got some awesome pictures of great muscle cars if you're into cars, or you know somebody who's into muscle cars and they need some great mouse pad to have while they're on the computer working. But then they also have dumbass fucking t-shirts that say things like, are you staring at my ass, with a picture of a donkey on it, or stickers that say, are you staring at my beaver, with a picture of a beaver on it. Stuff like that, man. Completely ridiculous shirts and stickers, coffee mugs, everything like that. Anything that you could ever think about having just to get people's attention, make a statement out in public, and just completely be ridiculous, and to do it with some horrible designs at the exact same time. And like I said, I know the owner, so he hooked us up with a great deal where you can save right now by using the link below in the description. Whenever you go there and shop, you will not only support Music Making Sense podcast, but you also get a great deal on any and everything that you decide to purchase every time that you use that link right there in the description below. So make sure you go check that out right now, HorribleDesigns.com. Use the link below in order to get good savings. Go check it out. Buy some ridiculous shit for yourself or someone you know. All right, now let's get back to the show. Not to get off topic, even though I do. But what you need to do is you need to talk with them in a proper way. You know, you need to give them at least a paragraph back and not just say, thank you for your input. Actually talk with them. And if it goes into like a multiple reply thread, fuck it, right? You're talking with your fans, right? That's what's needed, especially when you're in the building level. But what also it does, besides build that relationship even deeper and further with your fans, is it also ranks you higher in email. And by that is like, they say like over 90% of all emails are outbound only. You know, where people don't reply back to them and stuff like that. It's just they're coming into people's inboxes. They read it. They maybe click a link on there or whatever, but then they delete it, right?
Right.
But whenever people are replying back, it ranks your email higher in importance, but also it's less likely to go to scam and spam folders. It's less likely to bounce and stuff like that. It's more likely to get to the people without any interference from the email providers, or even getting marked as fraud potential, right? Because if you're sending out emails to 100 people once a week and you're only getting like, a couple of them to open, your email is going to get seen as being fraud, because
Right.
people are not opening them. It's just going to be seen as spam. But if people are replying, that ranks it the fuck up. A lot of people are opening, that ranks it up as well too. And then what you need to also do is go in and clean up your email and stuff. I'm kind of getting deep into the email, but you need to go clean it up. Anybody who hasn't opened your email in like 6 weeks or something like that, you should probably move them off the list, right? Or at least out of the email cycle.
Yep.
But anyway, when you're speaking with your fans like this, it helps deepen the connection, and it actually helps you grow better, because somebody who is willing to give you their email address is already taking that next step with you, instead of just being a casual observer where they follow you on social media. They maybe like a couple of your things. Maybe they'll go and stream you here and there or whatever, right? But they're actually more invested as a fan, and they're going to be more likely to share your stuff with everybody, playing it for their grandma and shit, like I said, last episode. They're going to be more likely to engage with you on your posts and everything like that as well too, which will help you grow. And then they're also going to be more likely to be a part of any of your pre-save campaigns.
Right.
See, I'm firmly against pre-save campaigns and pre-promotion of upcoming events, upcoming projects. I mean, upcoming songs and stuff like that. Because just like was saying, new song out now. If you say new song's going to be out in a month, people are like, okay, fuck off. Get back to me in a month. Right? Because over 100,000 songs are uploaded to Spotify every day. What the fuck I'm going to do remembering your songs coming out in a month? Fuck you. Hit me up whenever it's time, right? Even if they kind of like you. But if you're doing pre-save campaigns or hype building in your email, those people are going to be like, yes, yes, yes. And then if you give them the opportunity to either buy before it's released or even just bare minimum download one or two of the songs off the album before it's released, they're going to be more likely to want to do that. And then they're going to be more like I said, to buy the album before it's released, to buy any merchandise associated with it. They're going to be more likely to get tickets and stuff. They're going to be your super fans, which is what a lot of people call them nowadays, is a super fan. That's how you build it, though. You don't build it by telling people out now, buy now, go stream now. You tell people, you engage with people with the content. Like KP says, build the content first and then the music later, right? But you got to you got to have that content there or else it's empty. You build with people with that, and then you have all the other things in place, right? You have your website and your social media profiles. You have your website set up and ready to go to where when they download some of your free stuff or they go on the email list, you're already regular with your email, sending out one a week. Oh, and then at the bottom of that email, after you give them all kinds of stuff, at the bottom, have a little pitch. Say, hey, appreciate you taking the time to read this and replying back to my question about it today and everything like that too. Head on over to my website, blah.com, and download my newest stuff if you haven't already. There's also an option you can buy some of my projects or even just straight donate to me. However you support me, I really appreciate this, blah, right? So you're giving a thanks for reading it, thanks for participating, and then you're giving them options on how to support you in a financial manner as well as sharing and stuff like that too. So you're putting a call to action or a conversion in the bottom of your email on every email. But the main bulk of your email is about the communication that you want to have with them. And that's how you do it. And a lot of people they say, oh, that shit don't work, Harkos. Oh, you sound like a YouTube video, Harkos. I had somebody tell me that the other fucking day. So you sound like a YouTube video. Somebody didn't know me. They're like, you sound like a YouTube video. I'm like, doesn't mean it's not right. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if it's all over the internet, it might be possibly right. But anyway, oh, that doesn't work anymore, blah, blah. It's like, no, it's because you haven't done it right. If you have tried it, supposedly, right, which most people don't even try it, they just say it doesn't work, and they've never tried it. But if you've tried it, but you failed, you probably didn't do it right. Let's try again. The communication is the key, though. And that's the main message I wanted to come with today. I just went into a lot of the details and stuff like that. But you got to communicate frequently and properly with your fans, And in a short form video that I recorded on my walk the other day, that's going to be releasing after this episode. And that's also, I'm going to have a little bit of information more in depth about this on the email that I send out every week on Music Making Sense podcast email list as well too. So go join that if you guys want some of the information on there. But I compared it to, people who have been married for 40 or 50 years. If you ask any of them, in a serious way, obviously some are going to joke around, but if you ask any of them, what's the biggest thing that you would say that young couples can do to get to where you're at, having 40, 50 year relationship, right? Communication. That's what they say all the time. Communicate honestly, openly, and frequently, right? And that's what you need to do with your fans to build a solid, real relationship as well.
And one thing I think that's missed that you didn't touch on is not only is it just them engaging in your emails, but also, the one thing is going into other comment sections, right? commenting on certain things that you like or that you're into that are part of your brand. So when you go in there and you're commenting, you can start getting people to follow you there because you're commenting on something that is near and dear to you, and it's near and dear to those other people. Right.
Absolutely.
So
you're building that common connection.
So you're building common ground. You're building common ground with them. So think about it like that too. And then as you're doing that, or you even like say, here's a perfect example just happened to me today. I'm a fan of shout out to heavy metal philosophy. I'm a fan of that YouTube channel, and I start following him on Instagram. He followed me right back. So because I've also commented in heavy metal philosophies, John Barbell's shout out to Big John, man. He's a great journalist, heavy metal journalist, and I love listening to the podcast, right? And watching his channel. So he followed me today.
That's dope.
So that, so doing that, I'm telling you guys, like, you start doing that, you can really find, like, if you start like following the people who are in your niche and you start communicating with them, start commenting, start talking about, if they're talking about radio, like if they're talking about album reviews and stuff like that, and it's one of your favorite bands, hey, comment, right? And then also they can start seeing your image. They can start seeing your profile and stuff. So it's a great way to get more people involved in your music, and you can also get, connect with the right people in doing so. So it's good.
Yeah, and when you're doing that as well too, like KP said, I just want to reiterate, you're not going in there to promote yourself directly. Right. You're not saying, yeah, man, I thought that album was awesome as well. You should definitely check out my album too. It's dope too. No, don't do that, right? No. You just keep it about what the topic is. And then when people see what they like talking about with you, then they're going to follow your profile, and then you're going to start showing up in their feeds. And if you're keeping your communication with your feed as entertaining and engaging, like we discussed earlier, then they're going to fall into that as well too, and start going down the fan journey with you. For those of you who don't know what the fan journey is, that's something I kind of hodgepodged up, but it's a very well-known thing. It's where people go through the different levels of awareness and affiliation with you, where they go from just hearing about you to following you to liking you to going deeper on, like, subscribing to your newsletter, wanting to hear from you more, subscribing to you on all the platforms, everything like that, to where they actually start supporting you financially as well as just sharing, what I'm saying? And then they end up being a hardcore cult-like supporter. Yep. That's how you build it too. It's just like KP said, you're going into areas that you already have interest in, and you're having genuine discussions about that topic that people are talking about. Like the past 2 episodes, we were talking about the big 3, right? Well, if you have a certain opinion on the big 3, on the situation, and you see a post about it, and you go in the comment section and you start talking about it, well, people who resonate with your opinion on that are going to follow you or go check out other things you've said on your profile stuff, right? And so then what that's going to do is now you got a new follower who already has at least one point of interest with you, where they agree with you on something, and then you're going to go further from there and keep on entertaining them, right? And if they fall off, they're like, yo, I'm not sure what you're about. I came to you because of this, but I'm not liking this other shit you're about. Okay, fine, fuck it, bye, right? Yeah, like. It is what it is. That's just how it rolls. There's over 3.5 billion people on the fucking internet and growing all the time. So if somebody comes to you because you made a comment about skateboarding, and you have that in common with them, where you both like skateboarding, you both felt the same way about certain trucks or something like that, right? And then they go and start following you, and they see that you're posting, your hip hop music, which is anti-government, and you're railing against, the situation going on in Palestine, and they don't feel the same way about you. Like, yo, man, I don't agree with you on that. Fuck you. I'm out. I thought you were all about the skateboarding, but I found out you're all about music, or I don't like hip hop. I like punk music only, or whatever the situation is, right? You know, whatever the situation, they're like, oh, fuck it, I'm out. Okay, well, bye. Like,
You
that's
got other
cool.
people
We
out
only-
there that
we-
love you,
we
like
own-
that dig you.
Yeah, we only had one point of interest. Okay. I'd rather have people who have multiple points of interest with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love Immortal Technique. I don't agree with him on every point of interest that he has, but in a lot of them I do. And that's why I like him as an artist overall. It's because his music, even though he hadn't put his music out in a long time, I still listen to his music because the message is on point, and his message is something that he stays consistent with.
Yeah.
You know, even though he has more of a socialist bend than I do on a lot of things, his message is still solid. His message is his message all the time. It's all about, you know, power to the people, all that shit, right? Exposing corruption and fucked up shit, all that. You know, so whenever you build affiliation with somebody based on common interests, that is what's going to help you build super fans. And yes, KP, I did forget about that, dude. That's a great way to do things. You know, I mean, that's going to be the way that you amplify all the stuff that I just talked about beforehand too.
Yeah.
Is, you know, once you get that set up, you get your content creation schedule on point, you have all the back end stuff with your website and your email marketing set up through MailChimp or whatever. Once you have that set up, then yeah, as you're posting, I think, go into these other groups and everything like that, other areas of the internet, and engage with people on a real level, and you're going to start seeing more growth. You're not going to see 50,000 streams in 1 month out of nowhere because you hopped on a playlist. It's not going to be like that. All right. I just wanted to come in here and let every single one of y'all who love raw, real underground hip hop know about a dope show I found over on YouTube. And they're exclusively on YouTube as well too, all right? It's called Hip Hop Radar Underground. Make sure you go check them out. They got live Friday shows every single Friday, showcasing artists from all across the world, underground, raw, real hip hop. And if you're an artist, you can actually go and submit your music there too and get it popping on that show. It's a great place to go and network with everybody as well too. Everybody that watches that show and tunes in live are raw, real hip hop fans. All right. So it's a great place to find some real lovers of your music. And like I said, if you love listening to dope new music, make sure you go check them out. They also offer artist spotlight interviews as well too. So if you're an artist, you want a spotlight, go ahead and hit them up over there. Me and KP were just previously on there, and we had a dope interview, sat down with the host himself, Sack Juggalo, and had a great conversation. It was a great opportunity. So I just wanted to cut this message right here for every single one of y'all who love raw, real hip hop, or you're an artist. Make sure you go check out Hip Hop Radar Underground over on YouTube. You can also follow them over on IG. Make sure you go check them out. All right, let's get back to the show. I don't believe you about that shit at all. Go fuck yourself. And we've seen it time and time again with all different peoples in pop culture, right? And, you know, you're going to have their hardcore group of supporters that don't believe whatever the latest scandal is about them, whether it's true or not. It doesn't matter. They're ride or die. And that's what you want. You want ride or die fans because they're going to help you get more fans. You know, they'll help you get more casual fans. They'll help you get more ride or die fans as well, too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well,
Facts, man.
I keep hearing fucking cars going. I like one of the first days with my window open right next to in my office right here. And so I'm actually hearing people driving down my driveway and stuff. I got like 2 neighbors, and like they said the UPS guy was across the street or whatever, but I gravel driveway. It's actually been nice here the past few days. Like, it's been like in the 70s and 80s and shit. So I've been having the windows open. It's fucking awesome. But like you guys heard with me and KP, like our allergies are starting to kick our ass a little bit. But yeah, if you guys have allergies, there's this homeopathy stuff that I just told KP about. It's called Allergy Calm. I'm not going to show it on the screen because I don't want to get in trouble by them, but it's called Allergy Calm. And it works really, really well at tackling the symptoms and stuff. And it doesn't take your immune system down like antihistamines do, like Claritin and all that shit. They actually are immune system suppressants. And that's why it relieves your allergies, because your allergies is an immune system response to something that it sees as a threat. And I'm not a doctor, but it's fucking real shit. You can go look it up yourself. But yeah, so like the allergies been kicking my ass a little bit too, and you can hear it in KP's voice a little bit right there when he was talking. It's a little shaky.
Bit.
Yeah, a little shaky. But But yeah, I mean that's a big chunk of what we wanted to come to you and talk to you about right there was that. And I mean, if you don't communicate properly, which I see a lot of people do, then you're going to end up being one of those artists that get jaded and quit because you're like, oh, nobody cares about the indie artist. Or you're going to be on Facebook or wherever bitching that, oh, nobody wants to support local artists anymore, blah, 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 everything like that.
That's
You're going to be one of them.
The case.
Yeah, it's not the case.
That's
It's that you suck, you know? Like Gary
content
Vee
suck.
says,
Gotta get
like
that shit
Gary Vee
together.
says all the time too. He's like, you're not shadow banned on social media. You just suck. Like,
Had a couple
you know
of
what
them
I'm saying?
said that, yeah.
Yeah, I love when he said
Man, a
that. And
couple of them said that.
yeah, you want to cause a firestorm online? Tell people that shit in a fucking Facebook post. They're like, no, I've been really fucking so shadow banned. I'm like, no, you just need to rechange your fucking shit. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, if you are posting certain things and they keep getting fucking reported and blocked and everything like that, yeah, you're going to get devalued in the algorithm. So stop posting that shit. I get it. Freedom of speech and all that. I'm right there with you. But
Think about
you don't
your
own the
brand.
platform.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you want to say whatever the fuck you want, 100,000%, you say it on the platform that you own. You know what I'm saying? When you're on somebody else's shit for free, it's like walking up into somebody's house. Like, how about this, y'all? Imagine if me and KP come over to y'all house for fucking dinner or a gathering, cookout or whatever, right? And we come over and you're like, hey, man, what's up? Make yourself at home. And we're like, oh, okay. And I walk over in the corner and just take a piss. And KP walks into your fucking wife's closet and just fucking starts throwing all the clothes on the ground and walking on them. You're going to be like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Be like, you told me to make yourself at home. This is what we do at our house. What, you're not about freedom? What the fuck? No, you're in somebody else's house. You got to act right. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, when you're on social media, I get it. You want to say what you want to say, but you can only say so much shit. Yeah, you're going to get fucking banned and blocked and deplatformed and all that shit.
Demonetized, hell yeah.
That's why, as an artist, you need to have the stuff put in place where you can talk directly to your fan base on your platforms. Because I know some highly conscious hip hop artists, right? They say a lot of stuff that the system doesn't like, right? About all different kinds of topics. And they're like, yo, I seriously get shadow banned. I've had some of my songs get kicked off of YouTube or off of the DSPs in total, stuff like that, because of the lyrics in my content, right? There's this one artist in Canada I know about. His name's Zen Skywalker. You need to go check him out where you can find him, because he's very political about some of his shit that he says. And he's been kicked off of a few platforms in different ways. And I told him, I'm like, okay, dude, look, you got a lot of people that rock with you, right? He's like, yeah, I got a decent fan base. Okay, you need them on your fucking email list, and you need to tell them your most hardcore shit in email or in a private video that they can see only on your website. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Because that's where you're going to be able to build with them the most. Because if you keep getting fucking shut down on these different platforms, you're not going to be able to reach those people or more people like that. You know what I'm saying? You got to chill it out a little bit on the social media. You know, give them 50%, right? Just give them just a tip, right? Give them a teaser, and then have them come for the full fucking 9 inches on your website and shit, right? And that's what you need to do. KP, that went right over your head.
I know what you're thinking, bro.
But yeah, but
I just really gotta get. It's just a really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a really strong message. I mean, no, I didn't go over the head. It's just I know.
Right.
It's just
at
the same time thinking in my like, yep. You got
it
to.
is because me and KP, we both have our own hardcore perspectives on certain topics, right?
Yep.
And a lot of times we don't bring it here because that's not what it's about here on this podcast. But we've had to deal with, if we bring it out too much on social media, then we get a backlash from the platform itself. You know, not necessarily from the people, but the platform, and so that does limit your reach. So it's all about communication. I mean, that's like the tone of today. You know. You have the right communication for the right group of people, for the right time, for the right place, you know? And so, you know, if you got, like I told that artist too, Zen Skywalker, I'm like, dude, you need to start a podcast. Start a podcast where you're really talking about that shit, and then bury your thoughts in metaphor on your music to help with the censorship. That way you're still getting the message out, and you're hitting the high level thinkers, right? Because if you're burying it in metaphor, you got to be a high level thinker to hear it. You know, just like how Kendrick Lamar with his song "Drink," the high level thinkers are like, oh, this is a hell of an anti-alcohol song. But the low level thinkers are like, yeah, let's get drunk to this song. You're like, no, that's not what it was about, right?
They throwing
It's
it
that-
up.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Take it
yeah,
in.
drink,
Yeah.
pull up, drink,
Yeah.
headshot, drink. Like, yeah, I'm taking a headshot. And it's like,
yeah.
yeah, you're who he was talking bad about in that song. You're the negative he was talking about in that song. But then all the rest of us are like, yeah, let me drink some water real quick. Then you're right, Kendrick. We need to get off that fucking alcohol. Like, boom. You know what I'm saying? So that's who you need to reach with that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's all about the communication. 100,000%. I don't know how many more times different ways I can say it, honestly.
I think you said it enough, man.
Yeah.
I think that's a
Yeah.
wrap, bro.
Absolutely. But
So,
but one second. Throat's getting dry from these fucking allergies, man. I mean, taking this medicine, it's helping, but God, gotta love spring, man. And I've been out in the garden too. So, you know, and that's one of the things too, is I realize is that, you know, you got to pay attention to what your brand is. So last year I tried mixing my love of gardening with my hip hop music, which has a conscious bend to it. Right. And whenever I was doing that, I was noticing I was getting totally different graphics, totally different demographics on those two different pieces of content,
yeah,
because
you gotta be
I was
careful
trying to
with
talk to two different crowds at once, and it wasn't working the way I wanted it to. On my gardening stuff, I would have like more 50 and 60-year-olds watching it. And then on my hip hop stuff, I would hardly have any of the 50, 60-year-olds, right? They would be and so when you're doing that, you're talking to two different people at the same time on the same platform. It doesn't work that well.
that. No.
So what I did this year is, you know, at the beginning of the year, I partnered with another podcast called The Weathered Report. And we talk about some politics shit. We also mainly talk about like self-sustainability when it comes to either business or gardening, or just not being reliant on the government, because the government can always come fuck you over, right? Everybody should know that track. But, you know, but we talk about that kind of stuff. Well, me and one of the other guys in there, we're really big on gardening. Well, since that's part of the brand of that podcast, I'm taking all my gardening stuff from last year, putting it out on that platform, and then all my gardening stuff from this year, because I like creating content for it to help other people who like gardening, putting that on that platform as well. But then when it comes to the Music Making Sense podcast, like, yeah, when I post a lot of my stuff when I'm walking in the woods or whatever, or if I'm in the garden doing something or whatever, and I post a video, yeah, I'm in that element, but I'm talking about music marketing shit. You know, whenever I'm on with my music, I'm talking about, you know, I'm doing my music related stuff, you know, stuff like that. You bring in different elements of your hobbies in there to where you're speaking to that one group, but you're showcasing yourself. So that's all. That was a lesson that I had to learn in communication as well too. Is when you try to talk to two different groups at the same time, it does not work either.
Yeah.
Not at all. So
No,
but
and I was thinking about that even with us when you was talking about that with me. We were talking about that with my podcast, with us podcasting, and just my art alone. I was thinking about that too. So something you definitely got to consider if you're doing, especially if it's they're extreme. They're two different extremes. Like you gotta think about how to separate those two in a way where you can be professional on both, but at the same time where people don't get confused, because that can happen, man. So yeah, definitely that's something
all right, y'all. I just wanted to hop in here again real quick. Yes, I know again, but you know what? We rock with a lot of people here, and a lot of people rock with us here at Music Making Sense Podcast. So I got to tell you about all these great people, all right? And this one right here, right now, is Mad K Studios, all right? Go check them out, madkstudios.com. Mad K is a dope artist, man. This guy can draw or paint almost anything, okay? He really, really specializes in, like, portrait arts for memorialization of your favorite car or a family member or a loved one or something like that. All right. Full commission artwork, no copy and paste shit or nothing like that. All right. Custom designs. If you want it, make sure you go hit up madkstudios.com for your custom art piece. And you can even go check out some of the pieces that he's done for freelance and stuff like that. And you can also get it on a shirt. He's got coffee mugs and mouse pads and all kinds of other decorative pieces of artwork that you can go and check out as well too. So if you're a connoisseur of art, you're looking for a nice piece of knickknack or something like that around the house, or if you want a custom artwork designed for a loved one or something that's cherished in your life that you want memorialized in an actual painting, a real painting, make sure you go check out madkstudios.com. Let them know Hardcoast over at Music Making Sense Podcast sent you. All right, let's get back to the show. Yeah, like whenever you went from metal to free jazz, you confused the fuck out of your audience for a few.
Well, I didn't necessarily refuse. No, I didn't necessarily confuse them. That was more like, it was just they didn't like it. It wasn't confusing to them. It was just they just weren't into it.
Right. Well,
But what
you
I'm
also
saying,
kind of switched it up on them too.
well, I mean, but at the same time, you go 23 years of doing something and you decide to switch. I mean, that can happen. I mean, that, that can happen. But it was just, like I said, it was just more, they just didn't like it. They were like, man, we just prefer your old metal stuff. We're not really into this. This is it's not our thing. We understand it, but yeah, so that's it. So it just mainly like, it was more like it's more of being a podcaster, like right here, and then also being that I'm wearing, corpse paint and when I'm in as an artist. So that's a difference, because that's something that I'm doing that's gonna be consistent in the presence of the image. So that you got to definitely think about that. And like I said, just know how to distinguish the two, and just know that your audience, like the metal audience who listens to the music, they can definitely, get into the podcast because it is related to music. And they also understand that, okay, there is a difference. There's, here's Coley as a podcaster, KP as a podcaster, but when he hits the stage, he's Dark Lord Shante, the, lead frontman of Charnel Vale. Mm-hmm. So they'll know that, but that's just that's what I'm saying. So yeah, it's understanding how to play those, because those are very important, because it's very important. And even like you were saying, with people with you looking at gardening and hip hop, it's like, wait a minute, what the hell is this?
You're right.
So yeah, so it's just understanding how to advertise them, and choose your content for each one, and understand targeting both audience that you need to target. Sometimes if they're not relative to each other, like if there's no true relativity to them, then you might want to have a separate market, like with gardening and hip hop. So yeah, that would be two totally different elements, right? And it would just be too difficult to get people in who are into hip hop into gardening, because they just don't click, even when it comes to the listening of the music out in the garden. Right.
It's still different.
It's like nobody's I'm not going to say nobody, but who do you know, or where have you seen in social media or in any form of content where you have gardening and hip hop, or someone listening to hip hop music in the garden?
Right. And that's what I was trying to do, was be that unique thing, which is positive. However, when you're in the building phase of establishing your name and your brand, you can't be everything to everyone. You have to be unique. The saying is the riches are in the niches, you know what I'm saying? But you have to be unique. Just like Nipsey Hussle, for instance, he got his notoriety and then started talking the Dr. Sebi shit and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And then he was able to transfer a lot of people who liked him for his music. Then when he started talking about the Dr. Sebi, the health and wellness and all the, the different stuff that he was talking about with that element, he was able to bring a lot of people with him because they already know, like, and trusted him in that whole, he already had them as a fan. So whenever he introduced,
and with
else,
the marathon stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, when
Yeah,
you go on to the
exactly.
business.
He blended all that together with the marathon message as well too. It's like, hey, look, you can't run a marathon if you're fucking not healthy, type of shit, you know.
Yeah.
And so he was going into all of that, and so he started growing his movement to include more things that were already there in his personal life. So like with me trying to blend gardening and hip hop, yeah, I could do that if I was at a higher level of notoriety and I had a huge fan base. And then whenever I started, drip feeding in my gardening stuff with them, seeing how it reacted, and then kind of going from there on, starting to do it more full time and stuff like that, maybe open a separate channel, blah, 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 everything like that. Right. That's a totally different thing because you're creating a different brand,
Right.
And so yeah, it's just, it's all about communicating properly to your people. And that's one thing I tell people a lot too with merchandise. When you create merchandise, don't have it be all about yourself. Have it be about the message. And I always recommend that people, what you should do as well too is when you create a merch line for yourself as a band or as a solo artist, you should have it stand on its own legs, meaning it has its own name, its own website on Shopify or whatever, and then it only has a little bit of stuff with like your face on it, right? But the message in the merchandise is the message that you have as well too. So that serves a dual purpose. So not only will it stand on its own legs and kind of run on its own and market itself because it speaks to a certain a vibe and niche when people are looking for that kind of stuff, but then also too, on the front end, you can position it like, hey, I have now partnered up with this company right here. They support me and what we're doing over here with this movement. You need to go check out some of their stuff and help rock the movement as well too, right? So it looks like you have a sponsorship, but on the back end, you own that goddamn company too, right? But it looks like you have a sponsorship from them. Just like if Diddy wouldn't have put his face on Sean John, right? If he would have just been like, yo, what's up, y'all? I partnered with this great company called Sean John, man. They're great. It might have been able to stand on its legs without him holding it up. You know what I'm saying? Like we talked about with Beyonce, some of her stuff before, and Rihanna with some of her brand endorsements, and Taylor Swift and stuff like that. When they come out with their own thing that has their face holding it up, if there's any issues with them where they just fall off for a little bit, they retire for a little bit, whatever, that kind of goes away, right? But when you build a brand that has its own brand, then you can say, hey, we're supported by this great company over here. Y'all should go check them out, stuff like that. And then it lives on its own. So, because if you create merchandise that speaks to a vibe, when people are looking for that kind of stuff on Shopify or Amazon, or it comes up in their feed on Facebook because they like that kind of content, then they're like, oh, cool, let me go check out and they're buying it. They don't even know about you, and they don't have to, know. And so
it's usually the image. That's like even with metal. Like the one thing is that they buy into, it's the band, it's the brand name. It's that, when they see Slayer, Kiss, Pantera, you know what I'm saying? They get into that, and then they get into the image of the band itself.
Yep.
But that first thing, and I mean, and if you are the type that knows how to make an image of yourself be the face and be able to where it's the entity, then you got a really good chance of doing so, right? But most of the time, it's like even just with the whole thing with Charno Vale, it's like, yes, my image is that image that I have is very, it's vital to it. But that's what, it's because that's, the lead of Charno Vale. So that's where you have to be, guys. Like, just know that if you are going to be the face of it, just know how to really make yourself the face. Right? And to where it's like, it's not so much about you, it's about the image.
Yep. Right. The message and the vibe and the image.
And the message and the vibe,
Absolutely.
Because you represent it. Because understand, as a brand, you represent the brand. But what is it that you're representing? That make you know what I'm saying?
That's the key. And that's the key to the whole communication thing we've been talking about today. what is it you represent, and then represent that, right? That's what you're doing. Everything that we've talked about, my ramblings and everything like that, everything we talked about today is about those two things right there that KP just said. What is the message? And then how do you push out the message, right? That's it. It's that simple. Yeah. So, yep. But if
man. Give it. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go.
I was going to give you the.
That's for you, man. Absolutely. Right there for you, KP. Absolutely, man. Yeah, you rounded it out. Absolutely perfect, dude. That you summarized the whole fucking thing. Absolutely. But as we always say, if you need help with any of this or anything in general with your music marketing, make sure you let us know. We can help you out in multiple different ways. Just let us know, and if we will help you out however we can. Absolutely. Music Making Sense Pod for any and everything music making sense. You can follow us on all the socials, streaming platforms, and you can even send us a message directly on the website, where you can contact us and talk with us and everything like that. And the sponsors that you hear throughout the episodes, make sure you go check them out down in the description. Got the links in the description for them as well too. They are great sponsors. Did you start the music already? There we go.
No. This is.
Oh, okay. There's that one as well too. Yeah, we have the other side as well too. Make sure you go check out the sponsors.
Yeah, man.
Check them all out. Horrible Designs, Matt K Studios, Hip Hop Radar Underground over on YouTube, and of course my company Apex Music Systems. Yeah. But yeah, make sure you hit us up. Keep checking out every episode. Make sure you go share it. Join our newsletter as well too. We drop a little bit of different information. Sometimes it'll be something we don't even cover on the website, on the podcast. I'll just be throwing it out because it's something on top of my mind at that time. So make sure you go check it out, and we will see you on the next episode.
Hell yeah, y'all.
Yeah.
You know it. And let's get some more.
Some more music? Jesus. I thought we Yeah. I thought we were done in the last one. I thought you were switching up the ending a little bit, but whatever. Yeah.
That's the intro.
Yeah.
We out, y'all.
See ya.